Okay. So I'm glad I'm, designing and developing websites. And um, 1 year ago for a company, we had like some version of this earlier version, and we want to have like documentation. As you usually can see on any like tech company website, will be like a marketing page and it'll be documentation website, all right? So we had the same kind of problem that we want to have both in a good state. And marketing website was built with 11, didn't have any search feature. And documentation website was built with a Sphinx documentation generator. Is from a Python world. It's pretty good generator, but it's not new, it's not shiny, and I don't want to support two systems. I want to support one system. And in the company I work for, like Antithesis, very nerdy. We would like to have like a control over the code, and we don't want to have like third-party uninspected code. So we didn't want to have any server. And usually when you don't mind to have a server, you can connect Algolia or Elasticsearch or Sphinx search engine. There is an open source search engine too, which like requires a server. So they have the same name, Sphinx and Sphinx, but those like completely different project. So I didn't want to have a server, and I thought, well, there's probably a JavaScript library which solves the problem. And my adventure started from realizing what actually I want to have. So what are my needs? So why I'm not satisfied with the Sphinx or satisfied with Sphinx? To be honest, I thought like simplistically, if I have documentation website built on 11, at the time there were no like any templates, so I'll be fine. And search should be not worse than on the legacy documentation, right? So you propose a new change, at least if it's not worse, people are going to be all right with this. And the first thing I noticed is that Sphinx documentation generator cannot, do fuzzy search. Fuzzy search is when you have a spelling problem, like me. I'm not an English native speaker, and then it won't find you anything. And it's like a kind of limiting, and I think it's a accessibility problem in a way that probably not that big of a deal, but for some people, it's kind of adding friction of navigating or searching. So I thought, hey, can I solve that? There is probably a solution out there. And we know that the Lemity website uses Pagefind as a search, and it's a great fuzzy search. The problem with this is that I personally don't like that. It's only prefix based, means that if I have something that I remember and it's just a substring match, and it's not the beginning of the word, but middle or ending, Pagefind would not find that. Although this is fragment from the Pagefind documentation. And as you can see, I put result count, and it cannot find that particular match on the page result. And I thought, it's kind of not cool. I expect the regular string matching work on a tech documentation website. And I thought, well, maybe I can solve that, or it's like a question of a configuration. And then now, not only you can have a decent website with a 11, you have a great template to build 11 driven documentation website, as like in React, Docozars, and VuePress, and others. So that's a new project. I think it's great. Talking from the person who actually built a documentation website from scratch, I think that's a very decent gift, so people can use it. The problem with this is that the search there for now very simple, and it's only a string match. The same case as I showed you earlier with Sphinx. So if I misspell 11, like, hey, no search results. I'm like, that's not great. So I kind of want both, right? I want fuzzy search, and I also want substring match, and it. I think they just conflict. They conflict with each other because, again, talking about 11 documentation, imagine that you remember wait time. There was some wait time function. Give me documentation about it. How should I use it? And you input that, and you don't have search results. And for me, it felt it's not great. I want both. And I didn't think it's like a big ask. I thought it's just a question of configuration of some library. And I found library at the end, but to my surprise, is the only library which allows me to do such things. And this is like short instruction for you. And the kind of end of the first part of my talk is that like if you want documentation website, just use limited libdoc. You'll save a lot of time. If you want to have a fuzzy search, probably use Pagefind, and I'm sure you can configure that. And maybe you can just join both. You can have libdoc search with a basic substring match, and you can perform that. And then if no results, you can just, hey, Pagefind, give me what you have now. And blending those two approaches, just like concatenating results, will be absolutely fine. But if you want to have like more control and you have time and nothing to do, probably use Flex Search. Flex Search is a very underappreciated library, and I think it's the best, actually the best search library. But it's just as a library, as an open source project, nicely done, nicely documented. The main contributor is a single man, and I suggest you guys sponsor if you use it. And as you can see, it's like uses the least memory, performs the fastest, supports all the languages in browser and Node, and totally fine without any database. But if you want to kind of do the search on your database, and for some reason the full text search inside that database is not great, you can definitely use Flex Search. So highly suggest to use that. Then, okay, second part of the talk, well, maybe a little pause. What did it take? This is what you need to do. And I hate to say that I did not create that open source version of that just because I didn't have time. If somebody would reach out to me and they really in the need of having good search, I'm open to help, and maybe that will be a motivation to create that open version of that. But it's not that easy creating open source project that everybody can use, or creating a library, because you need to acknowledge all like customizations and requirements, and all of those nuances is a lot of time spent. So definitely support open source projects that help you, Alemity and FlexSearch and anything else, or convince your company to support that. Usually, it's not a big deal for a company. So basically, how this what would you need to do? Create a local Alemity plugin. It's not that hard. You just like defining a function, and then you export the function, and then you iterating through all the pages. You can get list of pages through Alemity content map, and then you iterate through all of the blocks. You need to parse HTML page, and then you can basically generate ID of the page, or let it be just like a number. We chose eventually to have ID of every block, as you can see here in the HTML. We transforming every HTML page and having ID because later we can relate to this ID. This is a string-based ID. You can do numerical-based ID, or just save you search index space. Search index is not that big. For our website, basically search cannot be smaller than all your content. It will be bigger, but again, it's just text-based content, so it's not that much. And if you host a gzip, it's not big of a deal. And then you need to create search UI, and then you need to create experience or UI for jumping to the search results. So let me just give you a little demo. This is the website, and first of all, what's that search index? Let's just reload the page. Search index is 2.5 megabytes transferred, and unzipped will be 10 megabytes. Again, basically, it's like a content of the whole website with additional suffixes and postfixes to navigate the search. And then the search itself, well, I load that asynchronously, totally fine. It's not critical. People usually don't jump right into the search, and the search is like on every page. And then if I search for, I don't know, Docker, I have results, can navigate through them. If I misspell Docker like this, the search will be, search result is the same. There's no highlight. It's because I'm using a little bit older version of like search library, and the highlight I made was like just a custom thing. Now I plan to update and totally have a highlight here for the old search results. But what if you just occur, right? Like results going to be a bit different, but you still find it. Which in the case of Pagefind, you wouldn't just find that. And here we can. And what I'm talking about when I'm mentioning like the experience of jumping to search results, because we have this like identifier of every block. If you click, we jump to the page, scroll to the page, highlight that matching word, and also does this effect of like, hey, here's your search result. And you can see that URL becomes, search ID, and then like the term being requested. So that's about it. That's like a quick demonstration of search. I think it's pretty cool. Of course, there are things to improve. Like you can customize how tolerant your search to misspellings. You can customize like what is a priority. Am I prioritizing headers, or am I prioritizing like images or whatever? So it's not only for Flex Search is not only for full text search on a website. It's a library, so you can definitely use it like autocomplete in your application or some stuff like that. So definitely highly suggest. There's loads of documentation, but that's all valuable. Okay, we have a little bit more time, and I cannot ignore AI, because AI is everywhere. And how about AI search, right? Like, do you need search at all these days? So if we go to a very popular database as an example of a tech project, and I'll go to the search, I click search, and I input one word, active. And what I'm seeing is a great example, because I'm seeing search output on the right, and in the middle, I see AI bot. And AI bot does not understand me at all, because I just input one word, and like, hey, it's stupid. I don't know what you're talking about. But on the right side, there are search results, as usually you expect. And it's interesting that if you specify your request a little bit more, like what is active, the thing that we saw in the previous page is like, oh, active is da 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 da. Cool, I have results, but to my surprise, I don't see anymore. The first search result in the right side, because now it's like full text search on that string. So marrying both of outputs is not that easy. It's not that straightforward, and still not solved issue in many places. If you do want to have AI search, I think DocsBot is really decent. And yes, it's like a third-party server. You have to accept that, but you can think of it as like, well, it's not too critical of the experience. And if something happens to that, and I won't have DocsBot in addition to basic search or fuzzy search that I have, it's fine, right? So it's like a gradual progressive enhancement. And with DocsBot, you can use their UI, you can use their API. If you want to build the UI yourself, you just basically, hey, create new button, pick the model. You can go for cheapest, and then you can specify the source of the data, either your sitemap, or you can just provide a list of URLs. And then you can have your AI-driven search. DocsBot is not that expensive, but yeah, it costs something. It's not free. Interesting thing that example here, I'm asking the same thing, DocsBot, to which I fed 2 pages of documentation, and OpenAI, the model is the same, but OpenAI is like, is a service. So I just ask like, hey, how should I use antithesis? And without any context, OpenAI gave me some realistic results, but it is hallucinating a lot. Half of that's like not at all correct, and it's like never was a thing. So, but DocsBot gave me very correct answer and link to the documentation pages, right? LLM services like OpenAI and Claude, they can be precise and helpful, only if you restrict them, you point them, you prompt them. So here I'm asking differently. I'm asking to give me answer only based on the information from this web page, and then LLM would go there, parse the website, scan it, read it, and give me the list of stuff with links. That's great, but how many people would do this? Kind of navigating your website or trying to find an answer. Well, you probably would do this now on if you in the need of looking for answer on some documentation page. You can do this, but other people probably wouldn't just type it. So using DocsBot, which is like a LLM which you pre-prompt basically, and they even did it for you. You just provide sources, then they kind of solve that problem. Same goes with the Claude from Anthropic. It's kind of same question, analyzes the page. Oh, I'm reading this, I'm reading that, and then gives you a response. The question is still, should you have search in your website at all if LLMs are there, and soon LLMs going to be local, so people locally from their machine probably would parse your website from their browser, or going to be a feature of a browser, or there's a browser which just does it, like Opera announced something that will have LLMs inside and they can totally be run on somewhat powerful computer, but 8 gigabytes of memory, sometimes 16. LLMs still work, and parsing few pages to give you an answer faster than you would do as a human maybe is a good thing. So I don't want you to feel bad if you don't have website search. I think it's all right these days, especially. And but if you do, that's also great. So my conclusions are static websites, great for LLMs, no matter what, right? It's much cheaper to have static website, and Elementy provides you that engine, so which you can easily do fully static website. And if you do have doubts, I think experts go to source material, and experts who maybe read documentation but want to jump to a particular page or a particular spot faster. So it's not first-time usage, it's not a wonder, it's an expert. Then search is good for experts, and experts would appreciate search. And you definitely can design your pages in a richer, better way than LLM would respond. But you kind of want to make the page for LLM too. So you think of why the text can be used both through LLM and without LLM. What is the value you're providing on your design of the website beyond the feel. Maybe feel is just good, but also if there's like richer illustrations or just the text written in a way that would be shorter than LLM output, maybe that's good too. So Control F is fine, which is like basic string match in browsers. Maybe soon it's going to be fuzzy search, or already in some browsers. Fuzzy search across pages would be even better, and you can totally do that, at least with a Pagefind. And if you want a customized fuzzy search, definitely use Flex Search. And if you have that task, I would help you if you ask me to have that, because I use different documentation websites, and I don't really like search experience on them. So I don't think it's broadly solved problem on a good level, like on a great level, I would say. And on a good level, it's usually fine, but not great. That's it from me. Any questions?